everybody. Right now I'm just winding the wire into coil so that way I can cut it up, flatten it out into links to add to the chainmail vest that I've been working on for the past little while. Each one of these spirals on this tube that I'm creating will eventually become links in the chainmail vest that I'm making. Right now I've got about 21 feet of wire and it's almost done being wound. And then we'll be able to start chopping it up and flattening it to make the links. And after that I can add it to the vest. Thanks for the like. Appreciate that. Okay, so now we've got our essentially spring wrapped here, and now I can start working it loose so I can make the links out of it. First I'm going to pull the lead end here out of my tube and unwrap just that top section, and then we just have to twist it until it's free. Just work it free. If you twist against the spiral, it acts almost like threading with the head that I have on my tube, so it's going to help me get it off of here a little easier. And now we've got a spring. You can see, if you're trying to make a spring, that's one way you can do it. It will actually make a spring that'll return to tension and all that good stuff. But we're not trying to make a spring today. We're working on this. This is the front side of what will become a chainmail shirt. So right now I've got it just wide enough to get from chest to shoulders. And now I'm working on giving it length to get down to the waist. Once I'm done doing that, I will start the process all over again, making a back for this that will go on the back side from shoulders to the back of the bottom of my back. And then I'll make pieces that connect over the shoulders and on the sides. But this is where we're at so far. So far I'm about 500 links in to the overall making traditional 5-in-1 pattern of butted mail, not riveted mail. If you have any questions or you want to chit chat, go ahead and drop them in the comments. This is going to be a very long process. So, I always enjoy chit chatting with folks. So now I'm just going to cut off the tag ends here. And now I'm going to, one by one, chop these up, flatten them, and put them into my little tin here so I can build up a stack of links that will eventually become part of the mail. Give me just a moment. I'm actually going to throw on a pair of gloves because it's rather cold out today. I'm going to have to take these off when I link the chains together. But if you've ever touched an anvil in the cold, you'll know that this giant block of steel here sucks the heat right out of your hands in the cold.
Some punk robbing a convenience store was a bullet for him. Next thing you know, I'm trading my golf for one of these. Well, I had plans too, you know. And this may come as a shock to you, Sonny boy, but one of them wasn't living with you. I'm just trying to do the right thing here. I'm trying to be the good son. Oh, don't worry, son. Drink out and you live free when you've done right by yourself. I think that's what this is all about. Guilt, isn't it? Of course it is. But the point is, I did it. I took you in, and I got news for you. I wanted to do it because you're my father. How do you repay me? Everything I looked in here. A side comment about this, or a smart little put down about that. Well, I've done my best to make up.
Move this up just a little bit so you guys can see what we have so far a little better.
Killed you to say thank you. One lousy thank you. That is, I should give it to him.
you everybody for the likes. I appreciate that. If you guys didn't read the title, we're making some chainmail today. This is the third or fourth day that I've been working on this set of chainmail, and it's going to eventually be a chainmail vest that is going to be part of an armor set I'm creating. I'm making an entire set of armor completely by hand, based off of a set that's in the Wallace collection in Europe. It's a set of European Rangers armor from the high medieval period. The chainmail alone will consist of about 6,000 links. After that, we'll be taking some flat sheet and making pauldrons, a helmet, greaves, bracers, gauntlets, the works. It will all be traditionally made to fit me, and it will all be properly hardened and tempered.
It's not necessarily bad. Things have a way of working out.
So it's going to be quite a trick. That's for sure. It takes a lot of doing to make chainmail. There's a reason this stuff was so expensive back in the medieval period. Typically I do blades and things of that nature. Usually I do knives, swords, pole arms, those kind of things. But I've always wanted to try my hand at armor making and try my patience, because this is a very intensive, time-consuming kind of process. Yeah, that went right in there. Cool. If I could only do that every time, I'd speed this process up by about a second per link. That shit adds up. What is your preferred weapon to make? Either sword, probably swords, but I like pole arms as well. They're a lot of fun. I've done several pole axes, I've done war hammers, but I've always had a love for pole axes, and they're not actually too terribly complex to make. They just take a lot of hammering. They take a lot of forging to shape the metal, but they're very satisfying to wield because, you know, it's all this weight on the end of a longer pole shaft. Swords are a lot of fun too, but I absolutely despise the grinding process because it takes forever to grind out all the metal. So I'd have to say it's swords, but not the grinding. Or if the grinding is accounted for in the measurement we're making here, then it's pole arms. Thanks for your question. I appreciate that. It's always nice to have somebody to chit-chat with while I'm doing tedious, meticulous things like this. Like making thousands of links of chain, one after the other, and then assembling it. But basically we make a spring, then we turn the spring into chain link, and then we tie it all together to make the armor. Come on, cooperate with me. There we go. This little bastard right here is being a squirrely little link. Magician Hex. That's a cool username. you do a lot of like illusions and magic tricks, or is that more like Harry Potter fan stuff?
Don't worry, we won't tell you what's in it.
That is not the point. Dad, come sit down.
You're going to give a speech, aren't you?
Oh, that's right, I forgot. You're psychic.
Guess not to think anyone could feel this one coming on.
Let's get something clear.
Apparently my
Morning person.
clippers have somehow become magnetized.
First, I have
That's
my
wondrous.
Sans, eggshells, or anything else one takes.
Harry Potter.
Garbage.
Oh,
Then I
fair enough.
load that high fiber
Fair enough.
dust.
My gamer tags were all made when I was a teenager, so they are all lewd and uncouth names, let's say.
I cannot function.
And with a last name like Hooker, you could imagine
So, the many listeners,
I've heard quite a lot of things growing up through the years. High school was quite an interesting time.
but I have grown comfortable with this part of myself. It is magic. That is me.
Get used to it.
That's why the name of the channel is Hooker's Blades Forge, is because my last name is Hooker, so
This is new for all of us, but I'm sure that soon we'll all
it's
be
my
getting along.
forge in which I typically make blades.
Slowly
But
progressing.
like I said before, right now, I got a wild hair, and I want to make some armor. It is very unfortunate what the YouTube algorithm thinks is related to my channel because of my last name, and it took me a long time to convince the algorithm to start pushing my stuff with bladesmithing content rather than the things you find in Las Vegas.
Down, Eddie, down.
But after posting roughly 800 videos of making weapons and testing weapons and all that fun stuff, I finally got the algorithm to understand that I am not the kind of thing you find in Vegas. I am in fact a bladesmith. And take a quick interim to show you guys a couple of the things I keep hanging around the shop, weapons-wise. So,
Those who encroach on our sense of personal space.
this is a falchion that I did not too terribly long ago. Well, not too terribly long ago, meaning about a year and a half ago. But this one I kept for my personal collection. It is a flare-tipped Italian falchion with leaf-style twisted guards on it. It's quite a lightweight sword. It's a very good cutting sword. Nice and flexile. It's very stiff for how thin it is. But that's because of the spring steel that I made it out of. This is a fun little one. Then you can't go wrong with a good old-fashioned flail. Made this not too terribly long ago compared to that sword, and I have a video showing the paint job for this, showing the final assembly of like the wraps and the leather work that was done on it, and some testing, smashing some things with it. But it's kind of based off of the flails you see in Lord of the Rings, the Saruman flail. It's a very heavy flail. This is a 5-pound head, so it's a lot of weight to swing around. You can kind of see up here. I don't want to go climb up and get it down. But you can see this spear up here. You've got the blade head right up there on it. It's got some spikes. And then just above that is a harpoon style glaive that I made. These obviously are just the ones that I've kept for myself. Got a bunch of other stuff hanging on the wall as well. Some axes, some hatchets, tomahawks, maces, you know, the usual. That's a little draw knife I did out of the file a little while ago. Most of the stuff that I make is up on my Etsy store for sale. But I just figured I'd show you guys some of the stuff I keep hanging around the shop, since I've been telling you about me doing the bladesmithing stuff on a stream where I'm making armor. So, back to making chain links, because armor doesn't make itself. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything you want to chit-chat about with the bladesmith, feel free to drop them on the comments box and I will chat with you guys. I always enjoy having somebody to bullshit with while I'm doing bullshit. And making links is bullshit. It takes forever. Oh, you're the one who bought the needle rapier. Awesome, dude. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you enjoy it. Is it doing well for you? I'm really glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that you like it, man. I find that some of my most consistent viewers are people that have gone to my store and purchased stuff from me. Like there's another gentleman that's purchased a couple of things from me. And he pops in quite often to these streams as well. Comments on a lot of my videos too. It's really crazy to see. I mean, I never thought that YouTube would be such a good thing for building a community. You know, it's really nice. He got 5 orcs with it already. Damn straight. Got to eliminate the Green Menace. That's really cool. It always makes me happy to hear from people that purchase my stuff and hear what they think of it. It's exactly what I was looking for and I'm really impressed with it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, you did you see the videos on the channel of the process of making it? Because I have a couple of videos of actually building the whole thing over there on the channel. If you want to see, you know, the whole process of how it was made if you haven't already. But I don't typically live stream. I just started live streaming recently on a couple of more recent projects. And since armor making takes so long, especially chainmail, I figured... Oh yeah, I watched him. It was pretty awesome. So cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. That's actually really cool to me. And that's one fun part I enjoy about the bladesmithing stuff is that I can record the process of making these items, so whoever purchases them can see, you know, how the whole thing was made. They can show their friends, like, hey, this is the sword that I bought. This is the process by which it was made. This is, you know, every hammer blow that consisted of making the blade. This is how the hilt was assembled, all that kind of stuff, so people can, you know, understand how I make my pieces. And I feel like, I don't know, you own one of my pieces, so you can attest to this. But I feel like it kind of adds, you know, something for the person who purchases it. You know, it adds the ability for you to see the manufacture process of the item you own, because not a lot of people do that anymore, and not a lot of companies show how they make stuff anymore. And I feel like that's a connection that they're losing with their audience, like their customer base. You know, makes me feel more connected to my clients, makes my clients feel more connected to me, at least I hope, and helps you guys know that I'm, you know, a real person trying to make real stuff with quality, you know? Not just some guy online who's buying knives from Pakistan and reselling them.
What's your problem? You've been sucking a lemon all
really cool of you to pop in and chat with me, man. I appreciate that, and I'm glad that you're enjoying the sword. Wow, 65 people. This is the biggest stream that I've had. That's crazy. I mean, some of my videos have performed pretty well, but I've never had 65 consecutive viewers on a YouTube live stream. That's pretty damn cool. 74. Wow. Okay. This is going to be a big one. If you guys hear that in the background, that's just Frasier. It's the show from the 90s and early 2000s. I enjoy it a lot. It's good to have some background noise to pass the time when you're doing something like this.
Hello there, Fraser. What fresh hell is this?
It makes it easy to trust the seller as a first-time buyer. The problem with the shop is that you don't.
I'm sorry, Niles. It's just I've been trying to read this book, and it seems no matter where I light, I get interrupted. Oh, the holotropic line by Stanislav.
Ah,
I love his conclusion.
that does make sense. I should probably figure out a way to correct that on the Etsy store. I should probably do something. I don't know, maybe the...
So, how's father? Father? You mean the man who's driving me
I
crazy?
didn't know better.
That's the way it works, man. That's the way it works. Is when you first start collecting blades, you're like, oh, this is so cool, and then you find out that it's, you know, 440 stainless steel, which is essentially bumper steel, or bumper metal, and that is not a... Bumper metal does not a good blade make. A very bendy, flexible blade does that make. I think what I'm going to do is, you know, that strip on the top of the Etsy store that shows a bunch of hammers and stuff, I'm thinking of changing that image to me, like my face holding up a bunch of stuff, like from my shop, like some tongs, some hammers, things like that, so that way people will see, you know, my face on the shop, so they'll be able to see, okay, yeah, this is that guy from the YouTube channel. Because that could probably be one reason I have so many people go over there, but not actually purchase anything, because they might not know it's my official, you know, shop, even though the link goes right there. So thanks for bringing that to my attention. That's actually a really, really observant thing. That's a good thought. I'm gonna have to do something about that. I appreciate that. Thank you for the idea. Because that might actually help me connect with more people and possibly connect with more clients that want to actually purchase, because they'll be able to understand that that's me.
A good brother, credit to the psychiatric profession. All right, brother.
Hey, 2 times in a row we had one fall off the anvil and into the little storage container. Can we make it 3? It's like the crappiest trick shot live stream you've ever seen.
There was no room for them in your study once we got my furniture in. We discussed it last night, remember? Of course. I was just on my way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guilty of doing the same thing as you did, man. When I first started collecting, I was, you know, a teenager when I was buying stuff from the Asian gift store in the mall, buying, you know, anime recreations that are made of mild steel and whatnot. And being somebody that did martial arts and that trained with swords and weapons a lot, I would take them and I would go and practice with them and be like, why is this blade chipping so easily? Why is this blade bending every time I cut with it? That's actually one reason I started making blades, is because I was like, I could make a better sword than this, and I was right. Just takes some patience, some dedication, some consistency, some learning, a little bit of blood, a little bit of sweat, a little bit of tears. Nothing will make you cry as fast as working 8 hours on a sword blade and then quenching it just to have it crack or warp or twist in an unfixable way. And that has happened. Sometimes there are stresses in the metal you don't see. Sometimes it's an error that you made, like having the quench fluid a little too cold or a little too hot. All those kind of things can mess up your production process. That's why I do the testing, to make sure that when I cut with them and stuff, they're not just going to bend and warp and break and lose their edge and things like that. I want to make sure they're going to function. like even with the pole arms, when I do function testing on the pole arms, I mean, I smashed them into metal plates. Like when I made that pole axe recently, I stabbed through stainless steel pot, chopped into logs, all kinds of stuff with it to make sure that everything was as solid as I thought it was.
How about those Seahawks?
No sports.
All right, no.
Plus,
Agreed.
if you've ever played with weapons, you know it's just fun to play with weapons. So it's kind of a guilty pleasure I get out of bladesmithing is I get to make something and I get to cut stuff with it. I get to smash stuff with smashy objects and cut stuff with cutty objects.
So that you don't know. 6 months ago, when
But I appreciate you bringing that up about my store. I do appreciate that. That helps me a lot because I feel like if I can put my face on it as opposed to just that thumbnail picture, it'll help more people realize, yes, this is in fact the correct place. You have arrived at your destination.
And you didn't jump, huh?
And if you guys ever wonder why so much of the footage on my YouTube channel is sped up for a 10-minute video, you guys have been watching this live stream. You understand how long this actually takes.
one minute something if you don't know about each other. Something vulnerable. Now it's your turn.
Forging a sword out takes a significant amount of time, just like anything else.
I was in the basement going through old pictures, bothering me. And all of a sudden,
I do look forward to when I start making the armor parts, like not the chainmail itself, but when I'm finally done with the chainmail and I've hardened it, and I can finally start making the pauldrons and the greaves and the gauntlets and all the rest of it, and it starts coming together. That's going to be really cool.
talking about that kind of pain, I'm talking about your emotions,
Yo.
your soul. Some sort of experience other than this one.
Okay.
This whole thing's stupid.
Yeah.
Not to me.
That works. I would open it up, but it's kind of locked on all different sides.
Intellectual unapproachable.
Yeah, that's why I have it closed to keep the wind out.
You said cold twice, Mr. Egghead.
Oh, I don't even really need to. I got 3 jackets on and a pair of gloves. Yeah, let me know when you guys are on your way back and I can help you unload. Alrighty.
How serious this is.
One link at a time, one link at a time.
Not getting along, it's not getting better. Say this, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to.
I know what you're trying to say. You almost messed the both of us. You want to get me out of here, then you can have your own space, and I'll have my own space. We can put an end to all this bickering.
Well, yes. Guess it wasn't so hard to say after all.
Except for one thing. I'm not going.
No, I'm really curious to see the armor. Well, I gotta get off here, but I'll keep checking your channel and store for sure. If you haven't
It's a couple of years, not a
bought
couple of
from
days,
the
doesn't
shop,
it?
you're missing
You're
out.
the shrimp.
Hey, thank you, man. That's a very big compliment, and I will see you when I can see you. Thanks for stopping in and chit-chatting with me. And I'll be doing more of these streams, so I'll see you in the future streams, hopefully. Thanks for stopping in, and thanks for the compliment about the shop, man. Means a lot.
How about you and me having a beer together?
With all these years you've
That name reminds me of that song. You remind me of man, what man on a man with the power of voodoo. You remind me of the man. It's from like the Labyrinth and all that other stuff. It's a good song. That old David Bowie movie.
A cool guy to look into is ZNA Productions on YouTube. He does a lot of homemade weapons. Might get some ideas.
Yeah, I've watched ZNA for a while. He's a pretty cool dude. I've tried to reach out to him for some collab stuff, but he's kind of a hard guy to reach since he's such a big channel. I hope one day I can do like a collaboration video with him. Maybe do like something where I build a blade, he builds the body and tests it, or something like that, because he's got a lot higher production value, let's say, than I do with the ballistics gel heads and stuff like that he's able to test with. And I would love to see what one of my blades can do to a ballistics gel head or one of those zombie heads. I don't know if he sells them or not, but I'm gonna try and see about possibly getting a hold of one from him. Maybe if I can buy one from him to test with for like a Halloween episode or something. That would be really cool. But yeah, I've seen a lot of his stuff. He's pretty cool. I watch a lot of Todd Cutler, guys that do more like historical stuff as kind of a primary thing. That's where I get a lot of my ideas is from historical sources, because I like to take historical pieces and put my own twist on them, or try and recreate historical pieces. That's why I enjoy doing the pole art so much. But yeah, ZNA Productions is pretty cool. I like his stuff quite a bit. Watch guys like Shadiversity. Yeah, Todd's a good guy. I watch guys like Shadiversity. Why am I blanking on his name? He's the archer. Dude shoots a 160-pound bow. I can't remember his name. He does a lot of primitive weapon stuff too. Who else? There's too many names and too many channels for me to think of them all right now, but I watch a lot of other content creators on the same kind of vein of what I do, because it's always cool to watch those guys, see what they're up to, get some ideas from the things they're doing, kind of put my own spin on it. Mystic Mountain Forge is a good one. Alex Steele is really good for learning blacksmithing stuff. Black Bear Forge, he's a great guy. He's been at a couple of the blacksmith meetings for the Blacksmith Guild. Mark Asprey's really awesome. I've met him at a Blacksmith Guild meeting, and he did a seminar teaching us a bunch of stuff for forge welding and all kinds of stuff like that. Kurt Davis is a really cool blacksmith. He's one of my buddies that I know personally, that I've chit-chatted with quite a bit. He's part of our Blacksmith Guild. Blue Rose Forge has stuff, but it's not on YouTube, I don't think. Most of it's on Facebook. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool guys out there, and it's always good to get ideas and chit-chat. There's 308JC, there's Matt Campfield, there's a bunch of good bladesmiths out there, and a bunch of other guys that I like to hang out with, interact with, learn from. I mean, the way I look at it is, we're not competition, we're all of a kindred spirit. Our competition is the machine-made bullshit Chinese and Pakistani market that makes a bunch of crap blades. And our goal is to displace them by making good, authentic tools that are actually made the right way with the right materials. And yes, they will be more expensive, but they'll function a hell of a lot better too. And they're art pieces rather than just these weapon-like objects, let's say. Thanks. I feel like there's just way too big of a market of these machine-made BS weapons, and it's just not a good market. They've kind of taken over because anime got so popular, and medieval movies and stuff got so popular, and it's so fast and easy for these big factories to mass machine out a bunch of sheet metal BS that are knife-shaped objects, not actually knives. And then a bunch of people get this idea of how a knife is supposed to function based off of the crappy blades they get, and they never get their hands on a real functional utilitarian weapon or knife or tool. And then when they do see the prices for them, they're like, why would I pay $300 for a knife? It's like, well, you don't have to sharpen it every time you open a piece of paper, like you have to do with those 440 stainless blades that lose their edge as soon as you cut it to a piece of paper. Are they going to be stainless steel? No. Most good blades aren't stainless steel. There are some good stainless steels for bladesmithing, but they're exorbitantly expensive. Most good blade steels are high carbon spring steels, high carbon tool steels, and yes, they can rust if you aren't educated properly about how to take care of a knife. You need to oil it, you need to dry it, you need to actually take care of your tools and they will take care of you. I mean, I've made hunting knives that I've had people buy, and I've had them message me on Facebook saying, hey, I skinned an entire elk, bones and all, broke the whole thing down, and your blade's still sharp. They're like, I bought a bunch of these factory-produced knives, and I had to have 3 of them on me and sharpen them periodically just to make them work. And it's like, well, that's because the factory-made ones aren't heat-treated one at a time. They're heat-treated in a mass quantity, and the factory probably doesn't have the best quality control. As a bladesmith, when I make my pieces one at a time, my quality control is each piece I'm working on. I don't make batches. I've made a batch of 10 knives recently, but each knife was different. Each knife was made one by the time. Each blade was heat treated individually to make sure that they worked. They were all tested to make sure they worked. So it's just one of those things where handmade quality comes at a higher cost, but it performs better. And I try to view my pieces as art pieces rather than just, blades. So it's one of those things that kind of gets under my skin when you have these Chinese sheet metal made swords that they sell for $25, and they call it a sword, but it is not a sword. It is a piece of soft metal in the shape of a sword. As a general rule, if it says 440 stainless on the blade, don't buy it. 440 stainless is a mild steel. It can't be properly hardened, ever. No matter what you do to it, it cannot be properly hardened and tempered.
I appreciate the offer, but Dad, how do you know if you don't try it? Well, I didn't have to get shot in the hip with a 38, I wouldn't like that. Dad, it'll give us a chance to have an evening all together as a family. Niles and I really want to do this for you. We're gonna have the best time.
I'm almost done hammering all these coils flat, and then I can finally start assembling some links for this piece.
So, how do the coils look to you?
Well, we got a couple of.
And this will tell you how long it takes to make chainmail. Just to make the coil and flatten the links, it's going to be about an hour total. We're already at almost an hour, and I'm down to that much out of that spring that I had, that I created at the beginning of the stream. So making chainmail, it's not a fast process. It's not an easy process. It's a time-intensive, labor-intensive process that must be done correctly. Otherwise, it will just all fall apart. This is high-carbon steel baling wire, just in case I didn't mention that on this stream yet. So that's going to let me harden and temper all the mail once it's assembled to make it much stronger, make it stay together longer. I don't plan on getting attacked with a sword while I'm wearing it, but I'm going to be going to Renaissance festivals where I'm going to be selling stuff, and I'm going to be wearing this armor. So I want to make it as period authentic as possible. Sorry for going on a little rant there.
It's mostly social. You and the girls just bumping the gums. No one ever loses more than $500 or $600.
Is it just butted or are you riveting?
Oh, hell no, I'm not riveting. No. This is butted mail. There are plenty of examples of butted mail, and the one that I'm basing this off of in the Wallace collection is butted mail. And I'm not going to take the extra 1,000+ hours it would take me to make riveted mail instead of butted mail. I may be crazy, but I'm not insane. I'm crazy enough to make butted mail. I'm not insane enough to make riveted mail. I mean, I do have the tools to do it. Being as blacksmithing, you have all kinds of punches and chisels and drills and riveting tools, but no, it's not going to be riveted mail. This is going to be butted mail. I don't plan on don't plan on riveting all these pieces together. Butting them together and then hardening and tempering should be plenty strong for being a wear around piece. Yeah, that extra month would be complete and total hell. It's probably already going to take me a month plus to just make the chainmail vest. So I'm good with it being butted mail and hearing people say, oh, it would be so much stronger if it was riveted. Because then I'll just say, yeah, are you going to do the extra month worth of work for me to rivet it? Because I'm not. I'm fine with it being butted mail. And from a distance, butted mail looks pretty much the same. Hey, how you doing, J.I.J.? Good to see you back. Working on chopping down another coil. It started out really long. We've got a good amount of links going right now. So once I finish flattening these ones out, we'll be making sets of 35 and placing them back in. Doing pretty good. It's cold as hell out here right now. It was nice and warm the past 2 days, mid 60s, and then Utah, being Utah, we got about a half inch of snow last night, and the temperature dropped. It's about in the mid 30s right now. So I'm surprised you can't see my breath. I can kind of see it, but it's not really showing up on camera. But it's pretty chilly out here right now. Hence the gloves. Ah, you lucky duck. You lucky duckling. I would love to be doing this in mid 70s weather. But sadly, that is not the case for me today. It is nowhere near mid 70s for me right now. About 30-40 degrees off from the 70s. This would be a lot nicer to do in warmer weather. I mean, I have 3 jackets on right now, and my nose, my ears, everything's getting cold. What Anvil do I have? This is a Cliff Carroll 125 pound. I got it at a military surplus store that sells farrier equipment as well. So this is actually a farrier's anvil. It's got the bending rings on the sides. It's got a 1 1/4 size Hardy. It's got a 5/16 Princhel. And then it doesn't have a shelf. The shelf for it is right here on the horn. It's a smaller shelf. And the horn is more of a flat taper. Yeah, the cold sucks. The cold absolutely sucks. I'm half tempted to fire up my forge just to warm up the shop, but I don't want to waste the fuel. But yeah, it's the Cliff Carroll 125. I've had it for, I want to say about 3 years now, and it's served me really well. As you can see, it does have some deformations from when I was still learning my hammer control, and eventually I will, resurface this. It does have a couple of very slight chips on the corner right here and here, but there were cracks there when I bought it, and I got it for a pretty good deal, so I can't really complain. Do I use the benders? Rarely. These were mainly made for horseshoeing, to take a straight bar and put a specific angle bend on them. That's why this one sits higher than this one does, so you can stick a piece of flat in there and pull through. I'm doing butted mail. I'm not insane enough to do riveted mail. That would be an extra month worth of work to make this mail if it was going to be riveted. But it's not going to be a set for HEMA. It's going to be a set for when I'm selling at Renaissance fairs. So it's going to be more for show than for use. And it will be hardened and tempered.
The Cliff Carroll. Why did YouTube just block your comment?
Yeah, the Cliff Carrolls are good. It's cast steel, not forged, but even though it's cast steel, it's got good rebound. I've got 3 magnets on it. You can still hear the sucker ring. So that'll tell you something right there. Even with 3 magnets and it being siliconed and strapped in place on this wood base, it still rings like a son of a gun. But that's the only complaint I would have, is that it's a very high-pitched ringer. So either get some magnets and silicone it down to make it more of a dull ring like this, or get you some ear protection. Otherwise, you're going to be hearing the ringing of this anvil for a week after you're done forging on it. But it's a great anvil. I would recommend it. They're a little pricey, but they hold up great. I mean, I forged on it for, like I said, almost 3 years now. I've done a lot of heavy work over the tail, a lot of heavy work over the horn, even on the thinner parts of the horn and the tail, and I haven't had any issues with it. The tail is still perfectly radiused. It hasn't taken any dings or chips. The inside edge is still perfect. Like I said, there were a couple of slight imperfections on the edges, but I didn't, surface the edges first.
On well-shod farrier supply.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, even without the turning cams, I would do it. I mean, if you have the money for it, I would definitely do it. Because like I said, I rarely use them. There's not many times that I would need the specific angle that's going to create when I go for a bend. And I mean, if you want a bending tool, if you don't feel like bending over, the radius on the tail or the radius on the horn, you can always make a bending fork that just goes in the hardy hole. I actually have a video on my channel about making some of that out of some A10 air hardening steel. If you want to see how to make a simple bending fork, so that way you don't even need to worry about the turning forks. Because the bending fork's actually super simple to make. You just take some thicker flat stock, take a hot cut or an angle grinder, chop it right down the middle, bend it back on itself so it creates a U, and bend a lip into that U so it sits on the face of the anvil a little bit, and it'll stay right there. Yeah, it's a super easy build to do, and you can make them all different sizes. The forks for bending, you can make all different sizes, and the base can be the same as long as it fits in your hardy hole. But yeah, if you need a bending fork, you can make one pretty easily with some I think it was inch and a half by half inch is what my starting stock was, if I remember correctly. But yeah, if you need a bending fork, if it doesn't come with the turners, then yeah, definitely just make one. They're super easy to make. It's great practice. I mean, it's a good little project to be able to do for yourself. But most of the bending and stuff like that I do either over the horn or the tail. That's good stuff. Yeah, A2 is good. I used A10, so mine was a little more brittle, because A10 air hardening is kind of a tricky thing to get right, because it's going to constantly try and harden as you work it, if you work it too cool at all. But it's worked for me for about a year and a half since I made it, and it's held up great. So I'd imagine A2 would work just about as good, because it doesn't air harden to the same degree as A10 would. Yeah, that steel would work a lot better for the A2 would work a lot better for it than the A10 would. But I got a bunch of A10 air hardening steel from a raffle that we do at the Blacksmith Guild meeting, and I made a bunch of hardy tools out of it. But when I'm talking about the mount for the hardy hole, that's the kind of mount I'm talking about. This is a little Bic kind of tool that I created, like a mini horn for rings and smaller angles and scrolls. And what I'm talking about is all you do is forge it to the width that fits your hardy hole, bend it in half on itself, so you'll have enough thickness, and then put a lip on one side, and that'll keep it pretty dang solid in there when you're working it. I mean, I've done that for like bolster plates, for like round and diamond shaped bolster plates. I've got like my rivet header plate, so I've got a rivet header on this side, and then I've got a V-swage, I've got a little bend bar here, and some dishing tools for making like spoons. And then this one's a bigger one for making bigger spoons, diamond-shaped rivets, tapered rivets, stuff like that. And it's the same exact basic function. So what you would do is, for the bending fork, you would leave this straight up and down, and just cut it down the center to about here, and then you bend those tines up at whatever size or width you want, coming off like the forks, and then it just fits in your hardy hole, and you have your forks. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. If you get an anvil and you want some type of bending tool and it doesn't come with turning forks, just make a hardy style bending fork and it'll work out great. I will be right back in just a moment. This cold weather is doing a wonder on my bladder, so I'm going to go to the restroom really quickly, and I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, I'm going to be taking all these and attaching it to this. So, give me like 2 minutes.
Honestly, we've got to apologize to Dad. You're right. Give him a couple hours to cool down over it too, and then he gets home. We'll settle this thing. Absolutely. Now, just for it. Richard, do you think we've actually lost the ability to appreciate the simple things? Steak, potatoes, fixins? I'm afraid so. You know, the thing is, this is good food. I mean, it's not too fancy, but it's good, wholesome American fare. You know, Fraser, as a tribute to Dad, I think we should sit here until we have cleaned our plates. Well, I'm game if you are. Going to prove that we are not snobs. Absolutely. Fraser, Lucas here.
Alrighty, I'm back. I don't know if that was quite 2 minutes because I ran my ass off to get there. But yeah, now we can start making links of 35 because that's how wide this is. This is 35 wide from top to bottom as you're seeing it, or 35 long, I should say, from that angle. So what I'm going to do is make a link of 35 chains, and then we're going to link it back in to this with another 35 links, one at a time, and that's going to add one more, well, technically 2 more layers to the bottom end. Eventually, as we stack that up, it'll reach a long enough distance to go all the way down the body, and then we can start on the back side of the other piece. Once we got the front and back done, I'll harden and temper the front and back, and then we'll assemble the shoulder pieces. Before we attach them to the front and back, we'll harden and temper those. Then we'll do the side pieces, so on and so forth. But that'll be over the course of the month-long project that is making a chainmail vest. I can't remember if it was you, JIJ, that I was talking to about this, or if it was Swamp that I was talking to about this, but I can understand now why a chainmail was so expensive back in the medieval period. The amount of material, time, and effort that it goes into making one of these is just absurd. No, this one's going to be for me. This one's not going to be going up for sale. It's going to be part of a whole armor set I'm making for myself.
Dinner's up. Can I give you a hand clearing up the papers?
And for the price that I would have to charge to make it worth all the time and wire that I'm putting into this, it would have to be far more expensive than I feel like anybody would reasonably pay. So it's going to be more of a piece that I make for myself that'll become a family heirloom when I pass on. It's going to be a really interesting thing because people will be like, oh yeah, your grandfather made this armor set. You mean back in in 2024? Back in 2025? Yeah, why did he need armor in 2025? Yep, exactly. That's without all the fancy extra material they wanted. The gold hemming and the bronze hinging and the silver lines and all that stuff that they put in there. I mean, it's absurd the amount of money that they put into it.
Won't Mrs. Gray be coming?
No, I'm afraid not. And please, no more of this Dr.
Ha! Yes, exactly. The zombies of COVID.
Yes, Maris.
It was for fighting off the angry Karens.
Oh, I wouldn't have missed it
They told me I must wear a mask, and wear a mask I did. They didn't specify that the mask must be made of paper, so I made mine of steel and iron. Can you imagine somebody going in, like, to a shop during COVID, wearing, like, a steel helm, and they're like, you have to wear a mask. Madam, this is my mask. Oh, that would have been some shit.
Do I still say a prayer before you eat?
Hello. Oh, you said lol, not hi. My bad.
We thank you, Lord, for what we're about to
But that would be some glorious shit, man. Just walk into a store like a bodega or something. You must wear a mask on these premises. Does this count?
And may we always
I'm wearing a mask.
Oh, will you stop staring? I wasn't staring.
Just build in some earplugs so when she starts yelling at you, you can tune her out.
My uncle used to play basketball, so he wore his catcher's mask.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, in Utah it didn't get that extreme. Like, I mean, Utah's a pretty right-wing state. Like, we're a pretty Republican state. So we didn't really have it as bad. I mean, like the big cities like the bigger cities like Salt Lake, like the capital, got really, really tight about, you know, wear the mask, do the thing, yada, yada, yada. And places like Ogden were like, yeah, we don't particularly give a single shit. Like, you can if you want to. We're not going to get pissy with you if you don't. And I was looking at, like, you know, cities like in California and stuff, and I'm like, God damn. How are people putting up with this? Like, I would not do well if somebody got in my face and started screaming at me because I have asthma, you know? Yeah, exactly. Like, there were some places that they recommended it, and they didn't even, like, it wasn't required, it just had, they had a little sign that said recommended, but not required. I mean, to the doctor's office it was required during that time, but that's understandable because, you know, if you're going to the doctor's office, pretty much everybody that's there is probably going to be either sick or be there because they're concerned that they may be sick. So it would have been understandable for the doctor's offices for sure. But like in a supermarket or in your own car by yourself, enough said. I don't want to get guidelines stricken by the YouTube gods. They already don't like my channel enough.
Certainly a very interesting situation she's got herself in, don't you think so, Rob?
Yes. Okay, I'm back.
All right, Lorraine. Now listen very carefully to what I'm going to tell you. Your problem seems to...
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be right back.
Did you guys ever see the episodes of Futurama that were making fun of the pandemic?
She certainly is popular.
Oh, YouTube just... So when you post a lot of weapons making and testing videos, YouTube gets kind of pissy with you. I've had countless videos that I've had to edit and re-upload because of, like, getting dangerous acts and challenges, violations, and violations for all sorts of stupid, nonsensical BS. I don't understand why YouTube does it, but it's... I mean, it's gotten a little better in the past months, but especially when I first started out, YouTube did not like my stuff whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely tools. I mean, any weapon is a tool and any tool is a weapon. The way that I look at it is they're all force multipliers, right? Like, if a device multiplies the amount of force I apply to an object, that can be considered a tool or a weapon. For long-range non-alignment. Yeah, exactly. Like all my guns now identify as long-distance hole punchers. Like, that's just... They're just long-distance hole punchers. I need a 9mm wide hole in that piece of... whatever. I'm going to put it in there from distance. I'm going to drill a hole remotely.
Boo, Susan.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
hate Fraser Crane.
My gun is a Bluetooth hole puncher.
Yep, exactly. It's a wireless hole puncher.
Well thought out, point by point, constructive critique of this show. No.
Yeah, no, I lost all mine in an unfortunate boating accident.
So, dear listeners, when
It's a
Mr.
shame.
Crane's column arrives on your
Some good
doorstep,
pieces were in there.
read it, enjoy it. Above all, treasure it. For one day, this man will be joining the pantheon of the immortals.
If you get that, what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying.
Will be one day soon. I'm Dr. Fraser Crane.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
17.
Fraser, no funny running into you.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know what
Well,
I'm
you
talking
worked
about.
here 20 minutes ago. Have you seen today's Times? No.
If you know, you know. If you're not, join the cool kids. If you don't know,
You know, this is the second time
go get yourself a firearm. Join the cool kids. There's nothing to be scared of. It's just a tool. I mean, growing up in Utah with the military family that I have, I was shooting guns at 8 years old.
Oh, of course, it was at the,
And I've never once had an issue with a gun jumping off of a table and trying to kill me.
too successful to feel awkward. Where did we meet?
It's all about the person
I'll take your
and
word
the
for it.
intent that person has. My dad always used to say, guns don't kill people, dads with pretty daughters do.
Yesterday afternoon, Dr. Fraser Crane got on my case for not giving him a point-by-point
Good thing I also
analysis of
happen
his
to
radio show.
scuba dive,
So
unfortunately.
here goes.
Oh my god, his entire column is
You
about
could
your
make
show.
her some
Not very
amazing
flattering either.
pictures.
Toward the end, he even attacks your dim-witted I remember you. It's hard to say what to hate most about Crane's show. His pompous, sanctimonious style, his constant self-congratulatory references to his own life, or his voice, a mock sympathetic tone.
I mean,
so sickly sweet.
I particularly don't like Russia, like, for many reasons. Not necessarily the Ukraine thing, I just don't really like Russia, but I know something that they did very right. There was a,
Can I get you folks anything?
let's say, a predator towards children that got caught by the father of
Anything, thank you.
one of his victims. And he put 39 holes in that man with a kitchen knife, and the Russian media reports pedophile commits suicide, stabs self 39 times, buries self 6 feet under. I have to give Russia 2 thumbs up for that one. That's the way it should be done. Just setting examples.
Because he likes making all those dots with the crayon, he writes this dribble.
Yep, exactly.
Dr. Crane, on line 2 we have Stuart, who's having a problem with delayed gratification.
Well, he's just gonna have to wait.
What's funny to me about the ATF is that, like,
Derek man thinks he is, but if he thinks he can hide
the ATF is really funny to me,
sniveling school child
just
cowering
because
behind a tree, then I
most
say
ATF agents know less about firearms than your average redneck.
half a man.
Like, they don't know the difference between automatic and semi-automatic. They don't know the difference between bump fire and automatic fire. They don't know a lot of things they should if they're working there. Like when you see that ATF director that testified before Congress a few years back, and they told him to define an automatic weapon, and they couldn't. And they told him to define an assault rifle, and they couldn't. And it's like,
So what do you say we
and you're the guy who's responsible for alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
I'm not implying. I'm saying.
Fight as in a fist fight.
No, I thought.
I think ATF should stand for autistic turd fuckers, but that's a different story.
Or aren't you man enough?
We'll be right back after these messages.
I mean, they need to kind of read the Constitution. There's a line in there that says the word "shall not be infringed."
Man,
So what's it?
I think they need to go back to English class.
Fight me or not?
oh, you can't be serious.
Just like I figured. You're chicken.
No.
A Fortnite lobby with no...
That way. No, Ross,
You gotta be shitting me.
about that subject.
I mean, I don't play Fortnite, but isn't the premise of Fortnite, like, build things, shoot people?
You're chicken. Brain.
So now it's just Minecraft
Not chicken.
without... Now it's just Minecraft, essentially. You just turned it into, like, MMO Minecraft.
So man, I'll give you a break. Explain the time and
I don't understand what these people are trying to do, man. I really don't.
Don't you back out either.
What's the chainmail for? The chainmail is for me, for a chainmail vest for the Renaissance Fair. I'm going to be selling at my local Renaissance fairs in the coming years, and they require you to be in period attire. So, me being a bladesmith, I saw it only fitting that I should make myself a set of armor to, let's say, peddle my wares while wearing. So, the chainmail wet vest is going to be the centerpiece. We're going to have pauldrons, we're going to have gauntlets, we're going to have greaves, we're going to have the whole 9 yards. It's going to be a whole set of armor that's going to be built completely by hand by me. And it's going to be kind of a conversation starter. Your younger bro showed it to you? Oh, man. Now the question is, could you mod them in? Because I could see some modders, like some Redditor modders, get in there just to piss her off. That would be just gold. Yeah, the chainmail's for me. Okay, good talking to you, JIJ. I'll see you in the next one, man. Thanks for stopping in and chatting.
I see a man. A well-dressed man. He's wearing
1,
wingtips
2,
and a
3,
trench
4,
coat.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Five more links, and we can put it all onto the armor. Yay. You too, man. You have a good day.
Unless you killed a hooker when you were 12, not the much.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I would pay a Redditor to do that. Like, I'm the kind of person who would pay a Redditor to do that just to watch the reaction. Because that would be hilarious. Like, people would be losing their damn minds, and you know they would blame her for it. They'd be like, you didn't make the law strict enough. Wink, wink. That's one thing that people need to understand is outlawing weapons will never get rid of weapons. And even if it does, evil people will still find a way to make weapons that will do what they want them to do. You can't legislate away evil. All you're doing is weakening people's ability to protect themselves from those that wish them harm.
I might have known this would happen. All over again.
What did you say?
Something about a Billy Creasler, I believe.
I can't believe you're dredging that up. That was 30 years ago.
Who's this Billy Creasler?
Oh, he was a kid in 5th grade that used to torment me.
Yeah, so one day Frazier made fun of Billy's crew cut.
Well, he started made fun of the elbow patches on my blazer.
I think I need one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, one more.
Every time I couldn't make it out for a drink, they'd say, what's the matter? You got a clarinet.
What are my thoughts on Boer? I want to try it.
Billy after the clarinet?
I want to try it. It looks very fun. From a historical standpoint, I can see the relevancy, but given the fact that it's not life or death, given the fact that it's blunted weapons and there's a lot of rules that are in place for the safety of the participants, for sure, I wouldn't say it's entirely accurate to history. I would say it's a great amalgam of what historical warfare would... It's a great simulation of what historical warfare would be like, and the people who compete in it are great athletes. Like, you have to be in really good shape in order to put on all that metal, wear all that armor, and swing the weapons and fight each other. But at the same time, since there's not a lethal threat to it, and since a lot of things like thrusting with sharpened weapons and archery with blunt or sharpened arrowheads, and you don't have the open battlefield, there's a lot of things about it that aren't, you know, the same as it was on a medieval battlefield. So it's great for understanding martial combat in the sense of hand-to-hand fighting, but there are a lot of elements that have been removed from it by necessity for safety of the participants. So it's really cool to watch, it's really entertaining, but it's not the most true to history form of combat that you could have. I mean, it's really cool. And don't get me wrong, I think it's very nice to see it done. But I just feel like we won't ever be able to recreate the exact circumstances of a medieval battle, because with all the knowledge we have, we still don't understand the battle tactics as fully as we could. It would cost a lot of human life to understand it on that level. And we definitely don't want to recreate, 10,000 men versus 10,000 men just slaughtering each other in an open battlefield with archers and horses and fire and plague. But it's really cool. Yeah. So Buhurt is medieval style combat. You wear armor, you do all that, and you fight. It can be one-on-one. I've seen one-on-one matches. I've seen 20-on-20 matches. All that jazz. But yeah, it's the medieval armored combat. I think it's really cool. I'd love to try and participate in it one day, especially since I've done martial arts for so long. I would love to try my hand at it. It would be fun. Man, this cold is no joke today. So I've got a 35 long link, and that's going to go and get itself attached right to the end there with another 35 links. So now we're going to go ahead and start doing that.
Let's just say a father knows certain things about his son.
Good news. I've parked in front of a broken meter. We're getting a freebie.
As the stuff gets heavier and heavier, I thought it was that MMA night show.
Actually, yes.
Oh, thank you so much. Feel cool. I appreciate that, man. I thought that was... Yeah, so that's Buhurt as well. Aha! Work smart, not hard. If we use our brain cells, we can achieve.
Sure you want to go through with this? Yes, I am. Good. You'll be fine. Just remember, this is a street fight, not a boxing match. So fight dirty and throw the first punch.
I've found that a swift knee to the groin usually does the trick. If you have any doubts, check with a fellow in Manchester named Nigel Talents.
Well, if we want an unobstructed view, look, I prefer if you guys just stay here. You'll only make me nervous.
Whatever you want.
Wish me luck. I have to get their card. I need someone for our summer barbecue.
Come on! How you doing?
They're starting to fight.
No, don't worry about it, man.
Each other up. Come on, Fraser, we gotta hit him there first.
Get the police.
Yeah, that's what are they doing?
No worries, man. You don't need to apologize.
When they were getting started.
That is Buhurt. Buhurt is basically any medieval armored knight fighting that attempts to recreate historical armed combat.
I'm not arresting you, but I'm one of you. In this town, we don't settle our differences with street fights, no matter who you are.
Okay.
Well, thank you all.
Rotate that. That way we can actually tap on it. You came in at the perfect time, man. You missed all the boring stuff. I just made a set of 35 links, and now we're adding them to the chain. I mean, one could argue that this entire process is a boring thing, but I'd say they don't know what they're missing.
Thanks, Harry. I owe you one. No problem, buddy. You're getting close now. Another minute, Fraser would have been inside. I've never seen much for this. You can stand to miss a few lunches. Say, so many guys are getting together later down at Duke's with me. Why'd you come along? Yeah, maybe I will. You know what I will? Is the Crane boys don't take clarinet lessons anymore.
What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, that's right. You owe me my precinct.
why the lighting decided to go to crap all of a sudden.
I don't know what to do with those tossed salads and scrambled eggs. They're calling again. Thank you.
That's just not very nice of the lighting now, is it? I think it's probably something to do with this plate.
I saw the 2014 matches and just thought the MMA brought it in copy.
Hello, Doc. This is Dr. Fraser.
Ah,
I'm listening.
gotcha. Yeah, I think that they were trying to do like a one-on-one MMA thing with it, but I mean, there were duels back in the day, but it would have been far more realistic if it was actual, battlefield combat. But then again, the battlefield combat still is missing a lot of elements because you don't have archers, you don't have ballista, catapults, siege engines, fire, smoke, guns. I mean, people don't think that there were guns around in the medieval period, but there were. They had guns back then. They aren't what we consider guns. They're, think like a very, very primitive matchlock device, but they had their own version of firearms as early as the high medieval period. It was essentially a stick with a pipe. Yep, the boomstick. It's essentially what it was. I mean, if you, I think it was Kentucky Ballistics actually did a video not long ago on a medieval style boomstick. And that is, it's a boomstick, man. There's like, just like the phrase from armor making and modern armoring for vehicles and stuff, bulletproof, it came from the medieval period, from a concept called bulletproofing. You would shoot a ball out of a hand cannon, essentially, as it was called, a handgunnon, into the armor. And if it stopped it and left a dent in the armor, that was called a bulletproofing mark. It was proof that the armor would function against guns. And typically, you would not buy a set of armor that did not have a dent in it, proving that it could stop that round. You wouldn't want to buy a set of armor that was perfectly clean and perfectly smooth because you didn't know if it would work. And are you really going to bet your life on that on the open battlefield? Or would you rather know, yes, this armor is going to stop a round, at least, and possibly save my life? Fraser subtly reminding me of the NSA at the moment.
I think I hear your father coming. Stand in front of it. We'll make this a little surprise. Right, guys. How was your nap?
Great. The strangest dream. I dreamt this beautiful woman with black breath was looking at my face. Hey, where'd you just come from?
Dad, I got a surprise for you.
getting chilly doing this. And wearing the gloves right now is not really an option because I need the dexterity to be able to actually do this correctly. The things we do for our passions.
He was the breach bird, right? No, that's the dentist voice. Alright. He's the one with the wife that will let him be a constante.
When you were a kid, what was the name of that skinny fish you had on your butt?
How do you smell that?
Hands up for a second. Woo! Chilly, chilly. Pull my jacket down. It's coming up on my ass.
You've been exchanging notes now for the last 3 days. You were in the 6th grade. You'd be sitting in a tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G.
Let's see something real quick.
What are you doing?
Okay. Warm up my hands for a moment.
I'm giving her our telephone number.
No, don't do that.
Excuse me.
She'll think I'm being too forward.
For God's sake, Dan, you meant peeping into her apartment.
She's not gonna call. Yeah, $5. You get it.
That is for good. Hello? No, it's a stranger. Hi. I'm fine. Well,
Oh, the arrows back here that I made? Yeah, so hardwood shafts that are flexible enough and light enough are a big deal. Getting the right weight for the bow that you're shooting is very important. For the fletching, feathers, if you're using a traditional bow, are always the best way to go because they won't tear up the wood over time or tear up the fletching as much, and they'll fly a lot straighter. I've made quite a few different varieties of arrows. I've made some short arrows that are on the other side and some bolts as well. But I would say buying hardwood dowel rods that are the right size and the right flexibility to start with is the way to go, instead of trying to make the dowels yourself. And then as for arrowheads, I forge them out myself. So that's more a matter of individual skill, I guess I would say. If you can blacksmith and you can forge sockets and you can forge really light and thin, then that's good, because it's gonna need to be very, very light to be a proper arrowhead and fly properly. Making sure they're balanced well is also important. I actually have some videos on making some arrows.
Was she nice?
Oh, thank you.
What did she say?
I appreciate that. It's a long process to make chainmail. Making a chainmail vest like I'm doing is going to take at least a month to fully construct. But yeah, if you want to see the arrowheads that I forged, I have videos on making them and then shooting them out of some of the PVC and fiberglass bows that I've made. So I also have build videos on the PVC and fiberglass bows if you want to make your own bows too. So that's another thing entirely, is making bows. If you're interested in making your own bows, check out the Backyard Boer. He's the one who inspired me to do it. He's actually commented on a few of my bow making videos, and we've chit-chatted a little bit. He's a really cool dude. He also blacksmiths. He's definitely a source of knowledge on the bow making beyond myself. Like, I don't know as much about making bows as he does. Most of the bows that I've made were based off of what I saw him do. So if you're looking to make bows, I would recommend check out his channel. But if you want some more, like some less in-depth bow builds, and you just kind of want to see how I made mine, by all means check those out too. But I'm not going to try and rob views from him because he's the one that gave me the idea in the first place. You can make arrows out of the fiberglass rods you get from Home Depot, like the orange marker rods during snow season. You can make arrows out of those as well, but they're a lot heavier than the lighter wood arrows you can make. But they are stronger. So that's another easy option for arrow shafts. I think you would have to use epoxy rather than wood glue to put the feathers on. If you do that, a lot of guys use CA glue to put their fletching on. I just use basic wood glue, and it seems to hold up plenty good for my purposes, as long as you put an ample amount on and you let it harden and cure long enough before trying to shoot them. And that all just depends on the wood glue you're using. Yeah, we make the chain of 35.
ZNA did a ballista with the rod markers.
Yeah, those rod markers are tough. And those are actually what I use for the fiberglass elements in the bows. So you take those, you wrap them in duct tape to where they fit the radius of your PVC pipe. You use a heat gun to shape the PVC to the bow. And then, voila, you have a... Hello, Llama Gaming. Llama, how you doing? But yeah, you can use the fiberglass rods to make the PVC bows more powerful. And it helps them hold their shape over a longer period of time, so they don't deform as easily and they don't lose their power as you break them in. I might have actually made this one link too long. Might have accidentally made it 36 instead of 35. That's okay, I can remove the link if I need to.
Sitting as little cockatoo. There's Harry. He's sitting in a window wearing a stunning red dress. It's your face. It's so sad.
She's holding a note. It said, Martin, was it something I wrote?
Will you cut it out? Irene is not sitting in her window.
Oh, all right, Dad. No, she isn't, but she might as well be, for God's sakes. That's got to be what she's thinking.
Did you ever read a woman and then decide she's not the one?
Yes. 5 years after I married her. Hello there, Fraser. Miles, I was specifically not expecting
Bunga bunga hammer hit metal get hot.
That's actually one of the funniest things to me about chainmail making, is that it's all cold work.
My husband's funeral.
Well, of course, they'll have to do it with us, behind our chairs. Let me take your wrap. We were taking a drive, and I thought, well, just a couple of short ferry rides from Fraser, so we decided to pop over.
Niles, is this the charming gentleman you were telling me about?
Oh, Patrice, you bloodhound, you've treated another one. Yes, this is my dad.
How do you do, Patrice? I'm Mark Gray. This is Daphne Moon.
Please, Andrew.
No, we're bringing you to Seattle.
I'd like to see Paris. Poor thing's taken to her bed again. To this day, I have no idea how tall she is.
Give me just a sec, guys. I hear my dog's going completely psycho about something inside, and nobody should be home, so...
All sitting in your waiting room for 4 hours reading old magazines a great time. Well, we had a laugh right up.
Now I know where Maris gets her sense of humor.
Why don't I pop into the kitchen and get us all some refreshments?
A capital idea, and why don't Fraser and I join you? That'll give these kids some time to get to know one another. correct. Niles, that woman is certainly not Dan's type. You never know when love can bloom between two people who seem so different on the surface, do you, Daphne?
To tell you the truth, I never thought opposites attract.
Neither do I. We're alike in so many ways. Oh, come on. I can't leave Dan out there alone with her anymore. I'm sure they're doing just fine.
Speaky, jiggy, speaky.
Oh, Lord, I was afraid of this.
What?
Speaky, jiggy, speaky.
Niles, I think she's having a stroke or something.
No, no,
Eh,
Dan, it's just
just an Amazon driver going by. My dogs don't like them very much.
Yes. You see, you just put a G in every syllable, so you would be McGarty.
No,
What did she say? She said be a sport.
well, you know, it is what it is. Nobody was supposed to be home, and my dogs are usually pretty chill unless they see an Amazon driver, and I didn't know if... we've got some pretty sketchy people coming around the neighborhood lately, so figured better to play it safe than be sorry, you know? All my firearms are inside, and I didn't feel like taking the time to grab a sword. I mean, I have plenty of hammers, so... The wife's not supposed to be home for at least another 2 hours. My father and my grandmother have gone up on base to go to the commissary for a little while. So, I just figured if somebody's there that shouldn't be, I was going to teach them why blacksmith swings hammers all day. But unfortunately, no such fun was to be had.
What the hell was that?
I feel sorry for the poor thing.
I feel sorry for Niles.
That's who I'm talking
Thought the day
about.
was about to get a whole lot more exciting.
No, I saw what you just did.
What did I do?
When Patrice went to hug you, you moved away.
Wouldn't you?
No, Dad, no. No, you moved away from the window. You didn't want Irene to see you with another woman.
Yep,
You
so
still
I
care
did
about her.
actually make it one link too long. I must have miscounted.
There's
That's
something
fine.
stopping you from having a relationship with this woman. Now, what is it?
So we've officially added a whole 2 more rows,
All right.
and you'd think that that would add a lot of length,
This Rose.
but it adds
Rose
1
was my
inch.
name. Rose was Mother's middle name.
That's 1 inch longer. Can we get some W's in the chat for 1 inch? There are a lot of men out there who would be really happy if women would get excited over 1 inch. Oh man, my hands. That's cold. Oh, the small one? That was just the closest one to the hand.
Thanks, Fraser. You know,
Plus,
I guess I don't say it often enough.
I don't want to get any of the sharper ones stuck. And these are, you know, ratty ass ball peens. I don't want to have to clean off any of my nicer hammers that I use for forging. This isn't sharpened up or anything yet, or else I would have taken it. I mean, I could have taken the big boy. My 12-pound hand sledge, I swing that sucker with one hand, but,
No, it isn't.
I mean,
I can go check. I still have
that could work pretty well, just
All
as a
right.
donker.
Well, I had to tell him so. Look, I don't know why, but he just won't believe me when I tell him that
Or I could make the ancestors proud.
sure she is.
You're gonna get on my back.
I don't know, what do you guys think? Should we take, if the need arises,
What?
I mean, it's not like I don't have options. I got the mace for my bonking needs, I've got the axe for my thunkity-thunking needs, and the sword for my pokety-slashity needs. So, I mean, I don't know, what do you guys think would be the best option for a home intruder? Axe, sword, mace, maybe the flail? I have the flail in here.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Because he didn't live so much as Rome. No, Toulouse-Lautrec.
Mace, mace 100%. Yeah, nothing like a good old bonk stick. It's like a baseball bat on steroids. Practice my home run swing.
It's just me running on the way I did. Well, there is one last little thing.
Like the U.S. Army Ranger did. I mean, I have a bowl gouge for carving bowls. I could always grab the bowl gouge.
Just put it off to the side so I wouldn't trip over the damn.
I mean, it's essentially just a really sharp spoon. You know what? Screw it. We're gonna turn the forge on and warm my hands up for a second. Just for a second. Fire! Let there be flames. Oh, dude, it's so nice. That's so nice. That actually warmed up the temperature in the shop significantly too, because I have all the doors closed. Ah, so much better. Oh, got my clothes all nice and toasty on the inside. Ah, man, it's good to be a blacksmith. Back to making links. Another 35 set. And then link that back in, and then we'll probably be, I don't know, it'll be cutting it close. It'll be cutting it close. I don't know if I'm going to have enough links to make another set, or if I'm going to have to grab more wire and make another spring first. But when the pops and my grandmother return from the commissary, I'm going to help them unload, so I might end the stream there and then start up again after I get done helping them, because it'll take me probably an hour or so to help them unload and get everything put away.
Recently purchased a painting by one of this country's premier artists. Oh, it's not important who. Well, it's Seattle's own Martha Baxter, but practical, no. But ever since acquiring that painting, I look at it every day, and there's not a moment when I do that I'm not uplifted.
Nothing like turning on a 4,000, not 4,000, wow. Nothing like turning on a 2,000 degree flame in the shop for a few minutes to warm everything up. Makes a big difference.
Well then, yes, Gary, you should get the sump pump.
like an instant high intensity campfire.
Ross, just what is a sump pump?
If you need one, you'll know. Listen, do you really own a
Might actually consider, when I come back out here,
Yes, indeed.
heating up a piece of steel
Happy to know she's on
and letting my anvil soak up some of that heat so it doesn't suck the heat out of my hands.
Well, the phone rang. I pushed a little button.
That might be the play
Yes, hello, Miss Paxton. Oh, I'm so sorry to have kept you
when I come back out after that.
Well, thank you. Yes, go on.
Warm up the face of the anvil a bit.
To my little show.
That way it's warmer than my hands.
Every word. Oh, that's lovely.
That might actually be a pretty good idea. I might do that here in just a minute anyway.
Matter of fact, I'm having a few friends over for a
Thermal conduction for the wind, right?
for some cocktails and such. Well, I suppose you're far too. You would? Oh, that's marvelous. Well, all right. That's the Elliott Bay Towers on the counterbalance. Around 7 is just fine. And, well, I'll see you then. Ciao.
I know you're having a cocktail party.
That makes 2 of us.
Well, Imperial dead means first you whisk down a long dark tunnel towards a beautiful wide light. You suddenly get all the jobs you never got before. You let out a little chuckle and then you die.
That's a delightful story, Kathy. But, you know, I think the toss points need replenishment.
You're right on it.
Enchant. Just enchant. God, Miles, why is no one eating the Mussolino duck? Now we know why. No problem. Well, Miles, dog is eating their food. Pianist is too intrusive. You know, Mark's far too stagey. It's 7:05 and Martha isn't even here yet. I'm not going to have to sedate you, am I? No, I'm just a bit on edge. I want everything to be so perfect. By the way, where's Maris? I haven't seen her all night. She's on your bed. My bed? Yes, she's asleep under the guest's coats. She exhausts easily under the pressure to be interesting. Miles, she's supposed to be looking after Dad. That's the only reason you're here, remember? Dad is in the bathroom. Don't worry. That must be La Paxton. And fashionably late.
Well, it looks like I must have lagged there for a second. Because it just said reconnecting.
Oh,
You're live. Sorry if I lagged there, guys.
radiant.
I look like crap.
Didn't mean to.
That spot on
I swear.
my dress, I overfluffed one eyebrow and
You didn't miss much, though.
pantyhose is creeping
Just
down
put one
to
link
my
on.
knee.
Couldn't you have just done that on the elevator? Oh my goodness, Ralph's got a neck. Gee, so what do you think of the place? Is it everything you imagined it would be?
Well, to be frank, Fraser, I don't spend my idle hours imagining how you live. But I did expect lots of
5, 6,
beige.
7, 8,
And
9,
look,
10, 11,
I was right.
12, 13,
Would you like a drink?
14, 15 more.
Double bourbon rocks and spill a little in the glass.
Oh, Daphne, you're here too.
My goodness, Dr. Gray. Shouldn't you be out there mixing?
Oh, don't mind me. Just getting some ice.
Lovely party, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Look at this fresh metal. Oh, it smells wonderful, doesn't it?
Certainly does.
Were you sniffing my hair?
Why would I do a thing like that? I'm a happily married man. I love my Maris. Why should I put this coat? Just throw it on the bed.
So, Fraser, which one is your dad?
That depends on the mood I'm in.
Dr. Niles Craig,
Um,
shake your hand.
So yesterday I had How I Met Your Mother playing, which was another show. I just bring my Nintendo Switch out here and hook up Hulu so I have a show going that I can watch while I'm doing this, in between talking to you guys in the comments. Music-wise, I listen to just about anything and everything. I'm not super picky. I prefer, I guess people nowadays call it classic rock, but I prefer rock and roll, heavy metal. I like some punk rock. I like some rappers, I should say, not all rappers. Most rappers nowadays I wouldn't even consider musical artists. But I listen to a lot of different music. But a lot of the time I just put on a show that I've seen before, like I've already watched all the way through. Just kind of background noise.
Guar.
Yeah.
I never saw this painting before in my whole life.
Some of my favorite bands are like AC/DC, Def Leppard, Guns N' Roses. Old school rock, as people call it, is my thing for sure. Because that's kind of what I was raised with.
Ross at the party tonight. Nice gal. Why don't you ask around?
I'll listen to. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of bardcore, but bardcore is awesome. It is bardic style music, like musical versions of modern music. So they've got like Slim Shady bardcore. They've got like Guns N' Roses bardcore. It's friggin' hilarious. It's like all the modern music on old school instruments, and it's hilarious. I also listen to a lot of like parody artists like Bo Burnham, Rucka Rucka Ali, just goofy music. Can't remember what his name is, but there's another guy that did like Red Flags and stuff like that. I like those kind of songs too. Your Favorite Martian. But I mean, my musical taste kind of flies all over the board. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Oh wow, I made this 37 long. Okay.
From the radio? Guilty. Yes, but my wife and I love your show. Could I have your autograph before you go? My pleasure. But speaking of autographs, I have a story.
Get this put back up here.
Distressed to hear that. What you want? Well, actually, my wife and I toured the Loire Valley last year, and we couldn't resist buying 4 cases of this. It's really quite extraordinary. I hope you like it. I really rather not have it. Well, just a moment. Oh, that's rather nice, isn't it? Finish it well. Very well. No, thank you. Getting back to my problem, I recently gave a small but elegant soiree in which Martha Paxton was in attendance, and she told me that this painting was not her work. Dear, I can imagine how embarrassing that must have been. How do you canvas? Please, Philip, let's stick with that slightly better light. Oh, yes.
Thoughts on ska music?
Yes, well,
Ska. I may have heard it by another name.
do you remember when this
Uh,
was in the gallery?
What? You're gonna have to give me more details because I'm not sure if I've heard it called ska. I'm not 100%, and I don't want to give an inaccurate take, so to speak.
Martha Paxton says that it's not Paxton. Oh, Martha, how is the old dear? She and I go back a long way. Is she still as a Crenshaw member? Yes. Would you like a little more wine? No, I don't want any wine. I want to discuss this painting. Oh, so would I. No, maybe some brie. No, I don't brie. I don't want any brie. Look, I want my money back. Oh, well, that's where things might just get a bit prickly. You see, we have a strict policy here at the
Is anything, everything?
Oh, okay, yeah, I like instrumental music a lot. I honestly find that like music that is more instruments and more instrumental than lyrical can actually be quite relaxing. It's good for like that kind of music to me is better for like when you're just having a chill day, when you're just relaxing, when you're just hanging out, when you're not doing anything too serious, taking your mind off, maybe having a drink or two. I could see that being a very relaxing type of music to listen to, kind of like classical music almost. I like classical music quite a bit.
What were you two doing back there? Maris lost her hearing at the party last night. Daphne was good enough to crawl under the bed to look for it while I searched the credenza.
Maybe I'll go check in the hallway. It might have got trampled into the carpet when everybody stampeded for the elevator.
No one stampeded.
My wife's big into reggae. I kind of like reggae. Just depends on the day. Like I say, my music taste kind of varies depending on the mood I'm in and the day itself.
Yes. Geez, I don't know. What is the name of that really vicious lawyer that you use? Which one? The one I used to sue the contractor or the one I used to sue the personal trainer? Well, the meanest. That would be the second one I used to sue the first one. Just give me his number, will you?
Lieutenant Frazier, 5 years of litigation and you'll end up paying 8 times what you paid for the painting.
Right about that. Oh, God, I hate lawyers. Me too. But they make wonderful patients. They have excellent health insurance. They never get better. Say, I can use my radio show. I didn't think of this earlier. I can use my bully pulpit to expose that man for the fraud that he is. No, Fraser, that slander will sue you for everything you've got. Damn it, Miles, where is the justice? Where am I supposed to turn to? I'm a beloved household personality and I've been screwed.
For God's sake, Frazier, you're 41 years old. It's time you learn something. The system ain't perfect. Sometimes the bad guy wins. All those things you're going to be around to help you, the courts and the police department, sometimes they're just not there when you need them. So you can either let it eat a hole in your stomach, or you can just file it away.
Oh yeah, I am a big camper. Actually, I'm gonna be. My dad just bought himself a trailer. I plan on going on a couple elk hunts and a couple deer hunts this year. I plan on going fishing up in Flaming Gorge and a couple of other spots like probably gonna hit up Strawberry Reservoir and Bear Lake. Bear Lake's kind of one of my usual spots. I go up there pretty much every year. But I go camping quite a lot. As you'd imagine by me being a blacksmith, I'm very outdoorsy. I actually made myself a set of camp tools like, cooking tools, fire pit tools, fire starting tools, all that kind of stuff. I forged a bunch of those out and made a bunch of those, and I use them every time I go camping. And I'm actually thinking about making a couple of sets of them to sell on the shop too, now that I've given them trial runs and they've worked as well as I intended.
This is odd. Now it's in the hallway.
But yeah, I plan on doing quite a lot of camping, usually from spring to fall. But spring is coming kind of late this year in Utah, as it tends to do. But I fish a lot. I camp a good amount. But I do plan on going on a few hunts this year as well. Just because I just got myself a new /6 for the purposes of gathering elk from the wilds, let's say.
Lovely night.
One thing that's really cool is up in Flaming Gorge here in Utah, you can actually bow fish for quite a few species of fish. So you go up there with a pair of polarized sunglasses and a bow fishing setup. So like a 65-pound compound bow with a rod and reel and bow fishing arrows. And you can have a lot of fun doing that.
Give me the brick and no one will get hurt. No concern of yours. Yes, it is. How? Remember that day in junior high school when somebody took all my clothes while I was in the shower right after gym class? They hung them from the goalpost on the football field. I had no choice but to get a ladder and
Yeah, bow fishing is a lot of fun, man. It can be quite a wild time. The trickiest part is aiming through the water, because the distortion of the light in the water is going to throw off where your arrow goes. You're going to look down from the boat and you're going to see the fish at a certain area, and you actually want to aim below the fish, because the refraction of the light's going to make it look like the fish is further this way from you than it actually is, because it's deeper down. So you actually kind of have to aim under where you think the fish is in order to hit it. When you first start bow fishing, if you do it, that's going to be the biggest frustration, is learning where to aim to hit the fish, rather than shoot, you know, a foot over top of it and missing completely. Light distortion can play a lot of tricks on you.
Well, I also feel we're strong enough to show restraint after so much humiliation. Not to mention nicknames. Ever nicknames? No. Oh dear God, yes. Peach Fuzz, Jingle Bells. I can't remember the rest. Peach Fuzz. Yes, I believe Mr. Stewart made that one up himself. But anyway.
Kind of. So it's more like, here, I can go grab one real quick. Give me a second. So this is a bow fishing arrow. You've got a sliding knock. Oh no, I didn't make these. I bought these custom from Sportsman's, but it's got basically a sliding piece, and you tie your fishing, well, not fishing string, but your bow fishing line through here, or you can clip it onto a clip, and it's got a stop on the end just before the knock. So when you fire it, you have the string set at the front, and when you fire, this can slide freely so it doesn't stop your arrow in flight. And then the tip is essentially a very sharp field point with these two prongs on it. So what happens is when you hit the fish, this will punch through, and the hooks will kick up to the side like that and stop it from coming back through the fish. Usually it'll over penetrate, and this will also stop it from flying straight through the fish, so that the fish will be skewered somewhere on the arrow. When you go to reel it in, this will grab the other side of the fish, and you can reel it in that way. Once you get it, this piece can unscrew, and these can flip all the way around at that point, allowing you to pull the fish off the arrow. Yeah, that's the modern bow fishing arrows are designed like this. I don't know about the old school ones, but these are modern bow fishing arrows. I believe this is called a piranha head, and that's just, if I remember correctly, that's just the brand of fishing arrow. It's a piranha fishing arrow. Yeah, no, I didn't make those ones. Those ones are ones that I purchased. And you can get those at like Sportsman's Warehouse or any sporting goods place that sells bow fishing equipment. I would recommend, if you do decide to try bow fishing, get a compound bow that is no less than 60 pounds. That's kind of the minimum power you're going to want for a bow fishing bow. Because you're going to need it to have enough power to, you know, zip through the water, because the water is going to resist a lot. and then you need it to have enough force as it's going through the water to punch through the fish entirely, so you don't just hit the fish and punch in half an inch and bounce out or bounce off, especially if you're hunting things like carp or pike or burbot, stuff that's got thicker, harder scales. They're going to act more like armor, because you're going to need to penetrate those to actually, puncture through both sides of the fish. Plus you have all the bones in the fish, and you've got all the meat that it has to travel through, and the water resistance getting to the fish. Those are all factors you're kind of fighting against.
Martini, not? No, thanks, I'm driving. No, my bag of potpourri or set of utensils. Just sit down. That's dancing. Ducks have revealed a couple of the boys. That certainly isn't the boys. Seems we caught him in a clandestine rendezvous. The sly boots. He had a date he didn't want us to know. Oh, he's on his way to Rockville. What are they doing? Well, it's sort of cute. He's holding her hand. Don't. Play my card. Okay, no. Oh, I don't like this one.
Yeah, you'd think that they would be a little further back on the arrows, but they're kind of right up on the head. I think that's probably for penetration purposes, because if it was further back, the head would hit, and then the shaft would start, with getting friction from the body of the fish and all the stuff it's passing through. And you just want to make sure that those prongs get hooked on there. Oops, almost knocked that off. But you're going to want to make sure that those prongs get on there and get through there deep enough to hold on to the fish. And then it's essentially just got like a regular fishing reel on it that you reel directly in, the line reels directly into the rod, or the fishing reel head, I should say, because there's not really a rod on your bow fishing rig, which is really cool, because when you shoot it, if it's still alive, you're literally just wrestling the fish back into the boat with your bow and your reel that's on the bow. It's a different kind of fishing. It's more like Native American style bow hunting for fish than it is modern fishing.
Nothing more than just towed your car.
And you have to make sure to check your state's laws on it before you do it, because, for example, here in Utah, you can only bow fish for non-game species of fish. So you can't shoot like bass or trout or things like that. But if they're invasive species, if they're non-game fish, then you can shoot them with the bow, because bow fishing will kill the fish. You're not going to be able to release a fish when you hit it with a bow fishing arrow. It just won't survive. So here in Utah, you only really bow fish for things like carp and burbot. Fish that are considered invasive species that are not naturally from here, that are not considered game fish.
What are you staring at?
Have you thought about growing a mustache?
No, I don't think it would suit me.
Oh, yes, it does.
Never seen me with one.
Actually, I have. There's a billboard in your shop down on 16th Street. It's like with a can of spray paint. Oh, yeah. That's a way to the workers. Take good care of your teeth. That look is not at all flattering on you. I'll get it.
geographics. I was looking at the maps. That's what makes it so scary. Now, what was your point? According to my journal, something more provocative happened during that same period. Read this. Though summer at the lake seems but a vapid, vacuous experience, it is a necessary tonic for my troubled youth. Now, how old were you when you wrote this? Almost 9. Which explains the redundancy of mathematics. By 10, my writing had gotten considerably tighter.
Oh, yep, made that 37 instead of 35.
The point is that
That'll happen.
crept out onto the screen porch, leaving the lights on.
Okay, now we've added another inch. And it's getting longer,
Through the darkness,
bit by bit.
days I saw the figures of Dad and Mrs. Boer in each other's arms. I think it's pretty clear what happened, Fraser. Dad and Mrs. Boer had an affair.
Oh, man.
Come on, Niles, I appreciate your attempt to spice up our
And I know as a fact I'm not going to have enough rings to do another row, so I'm just going to go ahead and make more rings
Allow me to present the
right now.
This is a photo.
Because that is not enough for another row, let alone linking it back in. I'm going to warm the hands back up again real quick, get some more heat in the shop for a second. Oh yeah. Warming up the shoes, man, that makes a difference. Get my toes nice and warm and toasty again. Woo! Leave that running for a minute. Let Now we are gonna create another one of them springs.
Well, I see all sorts of things have been going on behind my back.
More springs equals more links equals more chains equals more chainmail.
You may not remember. Very involved.
You know, thus the vicious cycle repeats.
Is your dad home?
Oh, no. Have the place to yourselves.
No, that's not necessary. I had dinner the other night and I left my room. I just wanted to tell him I'm sorry. Would you please leave a moment?
I think you've already done that.
And I'm having a bad time. You seem upset about something.
Would you come in for a moment, please?
But we've added 4 rows total today to our chain link so far, and it's getting there. I mean, it's a lot longer than it was before. It's fitting down to about my diaphragm now, whereas before it was just underneath my chest.
I know you're
So it's coming along.
If it's any
We're getting
consolation, time your father and I
we're
were
getting
together.
progress made, as slow as it may be.
So was my husband. I made a mistake. And just tell your father I stopped by. I felt so silly crying in front of him the other night. I've been a little over emotional since Dan died.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
I never realized how hard that's gonna hit you. But look who I
Alrighty. Got another spring made. Now let's go ahead and take it off and turn it into chain links. It's a good forearm workout, twisting all this wire up though. You'd be surprised how much exercise it is getting that wire to twist tight. Makes the sides of your forearms nice and warm. Clip my tag ends real quick. Back over here. There we go.
Roger. At Cornell University, we have an incredible piece of scientific equipment known as the tunneling electron microscope. Now, this microscope is so powerful that by firing electrons, you can actually see images of the atom, the infinitesimally minute building block of our universe. Roger, if I were using that microscope right now, I still wouldn't be able to locate my interest in your problem. Hungry for Chinese tonight? I always, I'm sorry, we're experiencing technical difficulty. Let's go to a pre-recorded commercial message. Why did you hand me this copy? I don't do personal endorsement.
What is the big deal? All the other personalities do, though.
Personalities aren't doctors. If I allow myself to become a Cullen pitchman, I lose all my credibility. I am a wise man, a shaman.
Zip up your fly, wise man.
Whoa, Doc! This is a radio studio, not a bus terminal.
Look who's here, Roz. Noel Coward.
Listen, Bulldog, I hate to mix business with revulsion, but Fraser, as usual, will not do his promo.
Love to.
And now,
No problem. Doc, with all due respect, you're an idiot. These promos are easy money.
Money is irrelevant. It's a question of integrity.
Integrity. Oh! We're talking mucho dinero. But hey, the more you turn these down, the more liver snaps for the Bulldog.
What is this with my name on it, Roz?
that's the contract for the Unpacking gig. So much they're going to pay you. I guess I need to have them change the name on here to Bulldog.
Pay you that much money just to read the copy?
Yeah. Of course, Bulldog usually adds his own special touch.
So you'll come chop chop to Funan Paris, where Peking duck is always extra crispy.
We're going to get sued this time for sure.
Damn it. I just put a dent in my front bumper when I pulled into my parking space. Does anybody know what happened to that tennis ball I hung over my space so I couldn't pull out too far?
It was bored. Needed a toy. Hey, go ahead and throw it. I'll run and get it for you. He didn't think that was funny, and he knows where you sleep.
Situation has risen over work. I'm not sure how it should be handled. Okay, maybe your objective viewpoint could help. that's the logical approach. One of the three of us go tonight. I'll make a call. I've been looking for reservations on Tiffany. I only spent just want to be treated like I'm just an average working Joe. Good evening. Yes, we got the reservation for 3 this evening at 8. 2:10. Well, then, this is Dr. Fraser Crane. From the radio. Yes, I thought you might. Thank you. We're getting 9:45. Did I say tasty? Tasty doesn't do justice. Those succulent pot stickers. And the curry hot chicken. Oh, don't get me started. So have you got a yen for Chinese tonight? Hurry on down to the Hunan Palace. Well, that's it for today. This is Dr. Fraser Crane, hoping we'll see you tomorrow on KACL 780 AM. Ross, I think I'm getting a knack at doing this almost. Did you get that little ad-lib I made about the yen for Chinese food?
Yeah. By the way, yen is Japanese, not Chinese.
That's right. I got a call from the owners of the Hunan Palace the other day. They said that since I started doing these commercials, their business has gone up by 30%.
Well, isn't that what advertising is supposed to do?
Yes, it is, Miss Sour Bridges. Give you a little credit. My God, these are boys upstairs. I've got perfect strangers to try a new restaurant, and most importantly, I've helped a struggling immigrant family. Came to the shores of here 12 years ago. A little more than a dream, a few recipes, and a walk.
Dr. Crane. I don't know what this is.
Excuse me.
BB Glazer. I'm Bulldog Briscoe's agent.
Oh, well, pleasure meeting you.
Well, listen, I'm not usually this forward, but I'm going to come right out and say it. I've done some research and I know you're not representing me, and I wonder how you feel about signing on with me as a client. If your answer is no, it won't hurt my feelings.
Well, I really don't think so.
Why?
It's not that I'm not flattered, Miss Glazer, but I'm not really a radio personality.
Come on, Dr. Crane. I've heard those spots you've done for that Chinese restaurant. You make me want to stuff my face full of egg rolls. I don't know why.
Thank you. You see, I dine at the Hunan Palace frequently, and that's the only reason I did those commercials.
The last thing I would ever want you to do is advertise something you don't believe in. I am an agent, not a pimp.
Well, I don't mean to offend.
Are you kidding? You're terrific. You can't offend me. Let me just leave you with my
You know what? I think I'm just gonna start clipping these
I will not let you
all
call me. It's too
in a bundle and then flattening them all out in sequence. I think it'll probably be faster that way.
Palo Alto. What was it stand for? Oh. You don't have kids, do you?
Oh, yes, I have a 5-year-old
Break
son.
down the chain a little faster, flatten it out a little faster maybe.
Worry about what?
Tuition, innocent. Oh, wait, I see. You're going to send him to a state college.
No. I plan to send him to my alma mater, Harvard.
Ow. Kiss it and make it better. Have you seen Business Week's projections for college falls the year 2010? If I'm going to go, that plane is not going to wait for little baby.
Yeah, I think it'll be faster if I do this.
We should talk sometime.
Just clip them all at once into one bin
I think
and then flatten them all into another.
See, it's not that I
think we'll go about it doing that way.
It's just that I would have to try a product first before I could endorse it.
Dr. Crane, I would do anything.
Tell me again why I'm here. If I do the commercial, I have to say that my friends and family enjoy this, and I won't say it unless it's true.
I feel kind of silly sitting here in the showroom.
Well, I apologize for that, but it's the best place to try one. So, tell me the truth. Are you two enjoying this?
Well, I do like the bubbles. It's a little like sitting in hot champagne. Not that I've done that very much.
Dad, did you know that this unit is made from the same heat-resistant space-age polymer that's used on the NASA space shuttles?
Great. Next time I'm re-entering the Earth's atmosphere in a hot tub, I won't have to worry.
Do you like it?
I have to admit, it's making my head feel a little better.
That's all I needed to hear. My friends like it, my family likes it, I like it. I can do the commercial, and Frederick can't go to Harvard. Oh my God. You see that Dave Handler from our building? You know, he's the head of the Seattle Psychiatric Association.
That's not Dave Handler.
Don't worry about it. Enjoy the quiet while you can.
Gentle bubbles, bubbles with ease for the aching body. This is Dr. Fraser Crane. In these pressure-packed times, what could be better for relaxing you in a redwood hot tub? Let Redwood's patented ultra-blow air system surround your body. Family and friends like it.
That's us.
And you'll like it. And in fact, quickly, you'll receive a complimentary stun cover. So, hurry down to your local Redwood hot tub dealer. Say Fraser Crane sent you.
Oh, what did you think?
I could almost smell the chlorine.
Dad, how about you?
I liked it.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it.
You really, really liked it?
No, I liked it.
Well, what was wrong with it?
Nothing.
You hated it, didn't you?
Yeah, good night, Fraser.
Hello, darling.
Baby?
First off, mea culpa for dropping by unannounced, but you are going to kiss me when you hear what I've done for you. Oh. Hello.
No, 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 no. Baby, this is Daphne Moon, my father's physical therapist.
Oh.
Now, I believe I was about to kiss you for something.
Well, today I got a very attractive offer for you to be a product spokesman, and we know they're serious because it's pay or play.
Ooh, that's the best kind. You get your money whether you do it or not.
Well, listen to this one.
How do you know that?
Well, I must confess, there is a chapter of my life I haven't told you or your father about. Back when I was 12, I starred in a television show in England. Well, I'll leave you to your business.
Daphne, don't get back. You what?
I starred in a TV series. It was quite popular in its day. Maybe you've heard of it? Mind your knickers. It was about a group of high-spirited, ethnically diverse 12-year-olds in a girls' private boarding school. I played Emma, the short, spunky one. Of course, by the end of the series, I was 16, 5'10", and they had me boobsies bound up tighter than a mummy.
Well,
A woman is like an artichoke. Just keep peeling away
this will be much faster. I should have done this from the beginning.
You can't be serious. That's a nose people trust. Oh, you slipped. Thanks, Jeff. Seen it already, you know.
Two nuts are arguing with each other. I'm a nut. No, I'm a nut. That's funny. Hold it. You're both nuts. I'm Dr. Fraser Crane, known as psychiatrist, and I know a nut when I see it. I don't know about that line.
It's a scream.
Maybe a scream, but it's what's the word I'm looking for?
Tuition. Retirement fee cut. Sorry. It's just that I want so much from you.
I don't get a reputation for being difficult. I'm just not comfortable with the line.
Fraser. How long have we been together? You think I would ever have to do something that you were uncomfortable with? What makes this so wonderful? You're spoofing yourself. You're showing a psychiatrist can be loose. You're making shrinks more accessible to the average person.
So what you're saying is that I'm really doing psychiatry a service by no means.
You have a way of cutting through the baloney that knocks me out cold.
What does this mean? Fraser comes out of his shell.
It's a textbook term for aligning thing. You see, you come out of your shadow, your shell, into the light.
I've learned about this business. Well, it's nice. Thanks. Nice to talk to you about something. Like that ridiculous brochure. Well, they didn't tell me I could take it off, so I kept it on.
Oh, silly me. Here I thought it was just a means to attract attention. Have people come up to you and say, are you an actor? Thus affording you the opportunity to say, yes, we're a reenactment, and then proceed to crow, glow, and strut in a way you could not otherwise do.
The reason you have the shrink on your license plate would be? We've got a dance for like half an hour after that. I just don't think I can go through with that. I think that I'm compromising my integrity as a psychiatrist.
Why do you feel like that?
Well, for one thing, my co-stars are dressed up like almond and a walnut. Now, listen, I need your guidance.
Fraser, I don't see this as a problem.
You don't think this is a selling out Fraser Crane?
Oh, certainly. Sold out a long time ago. You know, the moment you agreed to do that calling show, you sold out.
You are such a purist. Granted, I can't do the kind of in-depth analysis one can with a single patient. My show literally helps thousands of people a day.
Well, Fraser, you talk about wanting to save your own professional dignity, but the first time you went on there, you got better into showbiz. You're no different from that movie star who had everyone pick up her skirt in that film and then did nothing but complain that nobody took her seriously as an actress.
So that has nothing to do with it.
Have you seen that movie? Maris and I rented the video. I don't mind telling you we watched our beds together that night. And that is no mean feat to keep his nose across the hall.
Niles, will you just tell me, would you do it?
A nude scene? I suppose it were integral to the plot.
Not a nude scene. Would you do this commercial?
Oh, see, now I'm a respected psychiatrist.
shit, there goes a bunch of them.
Know what to do with those tough salads and scrams.
Start having fun and then you lose control. Luckily, only a couple of them flew. Yeah, that's much faster to do it that way. Definitely gonna have to do it that way from now on. Got another box of links ready to rock and roll. Set this over here for now so I can set up my 35s. Now we'll make our 35s. 86 people. That's a lot of people watching me make some chainmail. Would never have thought that that many people would be that fascinated.
It's relieved to earn some money.
another row to the mail. It is getting, it's getting there bit by bit. So I don't have enough chain left in order to finish linking this section back in, so I am going to have to run and go buy some more wire after I'm done with what I can do for today, and one screen when I run out of these things. So I'm just gonna finish up this last little section, and then I will be signing off for the day. Because when I go to buy the wire, I'm gonna go run around and do some other stuff as well. So, there's that. But thank you guys for being here with me while I do this. Thanks for all of you guys who always come and hang out with me while I've been making this. I appreciate everybody who comes and watches the streams. If you guys like blacksmithing, bladesmithing stuff, I do a bunch of that on the channel. Got a bunch of videos coming up of making several swords coming out very shortly. I actually have one that dropped today at noon if you haven't seen it already. Of making a needle style small sword.
joys and surprises it can give us.
Yes. I believed it myself.
Excuse me. Um, this is clearly the most inappropriate thing I've ever done in my life, but I was watching you and, I don't know if I'll ever get the chance to see you again. Something about you tells me I'd like to. If you'd like to get together sometime, give me a call.
Hey, baby, I hear the blues are calling. Toss salads and scrambled eggs. And maybe I see my
Okay, so we weren't able to finish this last row today because I ran out of wire, but we got quite a bit done. I'm going to end the stream here. You guys have a great day.